putting a new convertible top on my 2005 Sebring here. There wasn't much information out on the internet on this, so I figured I'll record my progress as I do this. This is a Sierra top that I got out of an outfit from California. I'll put a link in the description. This is a two-piece top where the glass window is a separate piece from the top. It was extremely difficult to do, but I wanted to show you some of the finished pictures of this before we got into the project. So if you like it, you can watch the rest of my progress. It took several days because I was working at the time and not knowing exactly what to do. Had to figure out on the way and had to do adjustments to make everything fit well. Well, hey guys, this is my next project here. This is my 05 Sebring convertible GTC. Got this a few years ago. First Chrysler I ever owned. Most of the time it was Ford or Chevys, but actually I think it's a nice little car. Gets good mileage, plenty peppy. Convertible, not my first choice, but yeah, we got a super deal on this thing. But now it's getting time to replace this top. I believe this is original and it's shrunk and it doesn't seal very good. And during the rains, I have my bucket and I put it under the drips, but I'm tired of that. Ordered a new top. But you can see how much it shrunk here, because that's actually an inner piece of fabric right here. So it shrunk way up that way, and even over here, because this is where the cable is that runs from the front all the way into the back. And you know, this stuff should be hanging down a little bit farther than that, and it keeps the water out of this track here. I did loosen this cable over here. I took this one strap out. That's about all I've done to the top itself. I'm waiting on a top to be delivered. Got it from an outfit out in California, and it wasn't bad. It was 320 bucks for the top with and on this one I have the glass window with defrost in it, so I didn't think that was bad. 320 shipped. I'll put a link in there for that outfit. So I got this cable loose right now, and I'm gonna get ready to pull out some of the staples, because there's a lot of staples underneath this thing to make things easier. I pretty much gutted out the back of this thing with the seat and everything. I want to check all the hydraulic lines. I want to go in and make sure all the drains are cleared out down inside here, and you know, so that's that. Let me show you one other thing I did in here, and let me see if I can crawl in here and we can see, and I'll do progress reports as I do this. So okay, now I got the seat out here, and in the back here, if you can see, it's kind of dark, but there's brackets along the back here and bolts, and they hold the back of the top right in here. So they come out. It's a real nuisance reaching over this bar here. This is the back of the seat. To make things easier, there's only 2 bolts per side on this thing. Take the 4 bolts out, you can take this whole bracket out like that. Now you're not reaching over that thing. Now you really can get inside here and you know, work. But when I take all those brackets off, I'm going to do marks for where everything lays out, and try to be you know, as accurate as I can here. So I got, you know, I'm not going to take the headliner out. That can stay. So other than that, I mean, the hydraulic lines appear okay, no chafing. I figured I'm in this far into it, so I want to check it. I did have a leak that was appearing on the floor in the back here, and I was trying to trace that out. So I'm going to shut the camera off and I'll show you what I found for that. First, I'll show you the good side that didn't leak. I'll get a flashlight down in here and see if I can show you what I found. So this is the good side. This is where that rail fit, the metal rail, and I took it out. It was like 3 screws in here. And then beyond that, if you follow it down, it's curled up now, but they just have a flap that goes down like that. And the water would just go down, and it would just, any excess water would go down, it would just go into the wheel well itself. So, okay, so that's the one that didn't leak. So what we'll do is we'll go on the other side of the car, and I'll show you what I found for the side that was leaking. So, get over here, see if I can get my light in here, and we'll look into this one, see how well you can see. But, okay, there's the light. Now, this was the flap on the other side, and that just hung straight down. But what I found on this side, that the flap actually looped over the frame here. And any water that came down would follow this thing. Well, now it's dropping it on the wrong side of the fender. It's dropping it on the inside of the car. So this flap wants to be straight down. So, and this material is getting a little crazy anyway, curls and whatnot. So, so that was the problem for this side over here. This has to go straight down. So that's what I found with that. And you know, anything else I find in the meantime, I'll show you too. But I'll show you my progress as I do this. Never did before. Pretty confident I can come up with some good results. The other thing I want to caution you is if you do mess around with these things and you know, you start putting that top up and down, you will drain the battery out. So what I do, I just hook up my small charger on it, and I keep that on while I'm working on it, because when I cycle this thing up and down, it pulls some amps when it does that. So that's about it for now, guys. I'll show you my progress as I go on. Okay, see ya. Okay, now I took all the moldings off. You need to do the front one and the back one. The one in the center can remain. So these, if you just peel the rubber, these are already disconnected. If you peel the rubber back, you can see the hole here, and there's 3 screws back there. So I didn't remove the rubber from the steel part. I just kind of moved it out of the way and took the screws out. So that's that one. So you have one in the front, one in the rear, the one in the middle remains intact. So I just put the screws back in the holes to make it easier for finding everything again. Then from there, inside here, this is where your lift handle is to pull the top. Along there, there's a whole bunch of screws. So just remove those, and then this piece will come right off. There's the screws. I just taped it right to it. Then you have the metal piece that goes along the front here. There was only 2 screws. There would be 2 screws in the corner. All the other screws came through this, so that held it on too. 1 screw here and 1 screw on the other side. It's easier if these things don't have the side molding on. And then just have to put a little pressure on it. It feels like they're just stuck into place, then this will come off. Okay, once that's done, I'll put it there. Now you can see all the staples. So all these have to be pulled out. So I'll be pulling these all out. I want to take note how they did their fold in the corner here. That's the cable there that runs through the whole side rail, and it tightens down the side to the top. So I just want to take some real good pictures of this before I start removing the screws, and then I'll start getting this front loosened up. I did notice on the other side that the cable was okay, but the little pop rivet came off, so the cable's just dangling. So I'll have to re-rivet that top once I get things taken apart here. So that's my next step, is get all these staples out. So that's it for right now. Okay, I got all the staples out now. You can see the top flap here. So that's done. That wasn't too ridiculously bad. Just had to take a little time to do it. I did buy this little unit down at Home Depot. It's an Arrow. It's a staple tool. It was like $4. It worked pretty good. You just got under one corner of the staple, lifted it, slide it over, and it would pull it up. So that worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to. So that worked out good. So next thing I have to do is raise this thing up and start scoping out the rest of the disassembly. So that's that part. Okay, I have the top partially up. You can see I'm loose at the top. This is the cable that runs through this whole side rail right here. So now what I'm doing is I'm trying to release the end, and there's a channel that's in there. There's also a little strap right here that's on the top. There's a screw right here. I'm putting the screws back in, this way I don't have to go hunting for them. So that's it. I'm going to do that, and then I'll go to the other side and do the same thing and get this thing loosened up some. So that's that part of it. Okay, I just got the cable freed up in this. This channel of the top here was the fabric is so hard that I couldn't even pull it through. I just ended up putting my knife in the seam here and slicing down the seam like that, and then I could just pull this thing out. You know, I'm not saving this top, so I'm not going to worry about being delicate with trying to save every piece of it. So I still got to do the other side, but that's this side. Okay, I got the front released and I pulled the first flap up. I think they call these bows. Like I said, it's the first time I did it, so I don't know what everything's called. But this is like a T slot for this, and this is like a spline, so it'll snap in, but pulling it out's pretty tough to do. So I gotta work this across, and then I can get it over to the next bow, if that's what you call them. But right now, what they do to secure this thing from sliding back and forth is there's a small screw right there, and I'm having a heck of a time trying to get this thing loose. So I'm just gonna cut along this thing here to release this top, work this bow out, and if I have to cut that in the middle there, because I think it's bit so hard into this plastic, I can't even turn it. I don't want to snap it and strip the thing out and whatnot. So my next thing is I'll cut this elastic here. I think it used to be attached up to the end here, and through the years it just tore off here, is my guess. So I'll get that, and then I'll roll it back. I'll get this spline out of here, and I'll just keep working it back, and then sooner or later I'll have to get inside the car and release the back window, because I think that's what they consider a two-piece with the glass rear window. So, but you can see all the mechanism in here. These things are convertible. They're a designed leak is what they are. So, and if the leak doesn't go where it's designed, then you have problems. So I'm going to try to do my best I can here. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm frustrated or think I'm over my head. I think I'm still in the ballpark. I can get this thing done. It'll take some time. So what I need is a new top to arrive, and hopefully tomorrow I'll see that. But you know, all the stuff has to come out, and then I'll take a look at it, see how the frame sits. I don't want no tension on it, and it feels like it has tension on it right now. So I'll just keep on going until I get this thing stripped down, and I'll just keep showing you what I'm doing. So, alright guys. Hey, I just figured a quick way to get this spline out, because it was a booger I just grabbed it with a pair of vice grips on the end there, and now I'm doing this one-handed. It's going to be a little harder than with two hands, but I can just twist it right out. So anyway, if you guys get into that, then maybe you'll thank me for finding that little trick out. So like I said, it's real hard with two hands here. So little trick. All right, see ya. Okay, now I'm in the back of the car here. I'm getting ready to release all these brackets here. A flashlight to help see. But you can see right there, I put a witness mark on the body of the car and that bracket. And I did that all the way across. I don't know if I need it, but you know, it'll help me in the end getting this all set up. So these are all 13 mil nuts on these. So I'm going to release all of that, and that should take all the tension off the back. So that's my next step, and I'll show you what's happening after I get this done. So, all right, this is the next phase. Okay, I got everything loose. The window is just kind of hanging there, and now I'm starting to work that last spline on the roof. That one is a bear. So everything's hanging now, and you can see what kind of mess I got looking here. This is that last spline that's actually holding the window part on. This stitching here that was attached to the roof, I just peeled the roof back and tore the stitching. This all come with the new roof, as will this here. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing, sort of doing the old sardine can on it, clamp it and I roll it. But this one's really tight in this track here. And once I get this out, then this whole thing will come off, and I'll no longer have a top on my convertible. So then tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, UPS will arrive with my new unit there. But I still want to check out all the frame and make sure we don't have a lot of tension on it, see if it lines up nicely with the front. And I think right now it needs a little adjustment, and there are all kinds of adjustments in this thing, so I'll have to go over all that stuff. So that's it for this time here, guys. I'm gonna get this off and I'm gonna call it a day because I'm about pooped out. So all right, next segment. Okay, it's a couple days later. My top was delayed. They had some severe storms in the Midwest, and UPS was 2 days late. So gave me a little time to get some of the details done here. But you can see I got the top totally removed now. And a couple things I did mess with, because this vehicle here in this front corner never quite fit right. I think that was that way from day one. You can see how the rubber has a little bit of a bow to it like this, because the person I got this from before, and they got it with only 5,000 miles on it, always said it leaked in this corner. So I think this was done at the factory here. It wasn't ever done right. So I had a pretty big gap right along this edge. So there's several adjustments that you can do to these tops here. The one I did, this one back here, this right here, they call this the balance link. And on the bottom here, don't know if I can get my camera in there. Let's see. Hold on. And it's right in here. There's two bolts, and you would just loosen those, and then this link would slide back and forth. And what that would do is allow the frame to go forward a little bit. So I messed with that a little bit, and then there's a cam right here, and that kind of adjusts up and down a little bit too. This one you have to get the top to where it's half open, like the lid's flipped straight up, and then there's a little torque screw right back here, and then there's a torque fitting in here. You can turn this cam. I ran across a site that told you about all that stuff. So, you know, this is the paper here describing all those adjustments. And here's the balance link here. I'll put a link into that for you guys, because that was really helpful, and I'm going to keep this. So did that. Other things I'm going to do is these rails here are aluminum, and there's a little bit of corrosion here, and the top, you know, rubs along this. I'm going to make sure they're clean and smooth, so I'm going to get that done. Other than that, these top straps, not too bad in the middle here. I have seen you can replace these. They're not cheap. This one's a little tattered, but it's intact, and you know what, I'm not putting any more money into this. So with that adjustment in the front and getting this done, new top, hopefully I'll be leak free. So the next thing from there is I cut the main part off of this just to make it so I can put it on my bench. And the important thing is they tell you to duplicate how these backer pieces are positioned on this thing, and they want you to mark it, you know, as the factory put it on. Because this was a factory. I found the tag on the roof when I took it apart. So this is an 05 top on here, and it's 19 now, so it's long overdue. The only discrepancy I see about that is they tell you to duplicate the positions of these things. Well, this one here, if you look at it, this is what they tell me to duplicate, but you can see it's right at the edge of that metal right there. And if I come over to this one here, now I'm looking at the same but on the other side. Here's the edge of the metal right here, and I don't know if I can flip that back for you, get the camera down a little bit, but that's the edge of the metal right where my thumb is, and see how far the seam is. So you're dealing with a good half-inch difference there. I think this one was correct and the other one was wrong, so I can't see duplicating something that was wrong. They should be equal both sides. So I'm gonna make it this way on both sides. So you have to make sure you get all these marks. So this one here, I have, this one here, this is all the way at the end. I have a mark right there, okay? And then as I take this apart, I can put a mark on the rail itself where this is. Then I'll take this flap back, and then this piece here will end somewhere in here. I can put a mark there. That's the window section there, and you know, and then this piece will be continuous. That'll be the top itself. So I have to pull all those staples, get everything marked out. This seemed to be good because there's the center right there, and there's the center mark. So that one landed where it needed to be. So I have to get this all cleaned up, marked out, and then I can get the new window in and staple that up. Okay, so that's about it for right this second. Okay, I got the window laying on the trunk of the car right now. I'm getting ready to do this install. Like I said, I've never done this, so I do have some questions, but you know, I call it the outfit I got this from. They have a technical line, and then as soon as I wanted to ask a question, they couldn't answer it for me. So what good is a tech line? So I'm just going to wing it and do this. In the instructions that they give me is they tell me to line these two pieces up, and they're telling me to even the bottoms of these things. Well, this piece here is a good half-inch longer than that piece. That doesn't really make sense to me. So what I'm going to do is tack this up into the bow up there and kind of pull it down and look at it and see how this is, because on the original they are flush on the bottom, but I don't think they're different lengths. So I'm going to just put that on and do a rail at a time here, marking everything out. I got the last piece here. This guy's almost ready to remove a couple more staples here. This is that arrow stapler I was telling you about. This thing works really good. I sharpened the tip just a little bit, but you just work up underneath here, put your finger in the middle, and it'll pull like that. So they come out pretty easy. So I'm just going to keep on marking this thing out as I do it here. And here I have a center line on this one. I got a center line on the new one. And you know, we'll just have to see how this whole thing works out. So, alright guys, let me get the next piece installed. Okay guys, I got my first strip out here. I have my center mark on the bar itself. I got my center mark on the material. Now this is a 2-flap material here. This is the inner, and then I have an outer that comes over top of that. This is the one that's a little bit longer than the other. I think I'm going to pull them both in the same plane, and this will hang down just slightly. And that's okay too, you know, creates a little bit better drip edge. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to tack this. That's a center hole. I'm going to get this tacked in several spots. I'm not going to go crazy on this thing yet. And then I'm going to tack this on with a few, and you know, and then I think I'll just bolt it up and lower it down, see how it looks. It'll give me a chance to adjust it if I need to adjust anything. So which gets me back to I'm going to be stapling stuff. So I did go out and purchase a pneumatic stapler. I'd stay away from the electric ones. They're pretty junky. They don't have the oomph. So I went down to Home Depot. I read about these things. This is an Arrow PT50 pneumatic, and it'll shoot from 1/4 up to 9/16. Very reasonable. I think I paid $36 for this thing. I just added that into the cost of putting the top on. The other thing I did purchase was they had for the stapler here is stainless steel staples. So I got 3/8 and 1/4 right here. So I don't have to worry about rust with the staples. So these were a little more expensive. They were like $10 a box. So, you know, $20, $36. Still put me under $400 for this top. Let's see, I did get the top attached here to what they're calling the 4th bow. It has like a little barb on it, a double barb, almost like an arrow. And I was having a tough time getting that in. I mixed up a little bit of soap and water, ran that through the channel, a little soap and water on the rubber. I was still having a little trouble, and then I found if I kind of slid it in top and got that one locked, then I could push it down a little bit and just tap along it with my hammer here. Now I got it all seated in, so that's done next. So I'm going to just try tacking this first piece on here first. That one looks like it ends up being about flush. That looks about right, but this one will hang down slightly, about 1/2 inch, just given how these laid out on the flat. So like I said, I'm just going to tack it in several spots and pull this one over, tack that in several spots, and then I'm going to attach it in the car and just lower the top down a little bit, see how it looks. If it looks good, I'll take it off, and then I'll finish stapling this all off. So that's it for now. Well, hey guys, it's the next day now. I was about wore out last night. Got the glass in. I'm fighting these compound corners here. They're a bear. I've had this thing in and out several times, but it's just tack it and install it and see what you get. I still got to do that center flap, but this one here, this is too much. all these wrinkles are too much. So I got to get this squared away first. This flap will come down and then cover this section here. So trying a different approach with this. Remove the bars on the inside, take the tacks out, move it around to where I get it, snug up the bars, and then mark the inside of the bar and see if that works for us. So that's where I'm at right now. So until I get these straightened up, then you know, I'm still dead in the water. So these two-piece tops are extremely hard. So that's it for now. Okay, I'm about done with the window portion of that. I got the bottom flap, and that's all stapled in. I think there's a few wrinkles in it will dissipate as it sits in the sun. Didn't get these corners quite as tight as I would have liked to seen them. This is part of the window side, so I decided to leave it on the loose side. Because when I tightened it up, I had stresses through the center. This is all getting covered up by the top itself. So I think it's better to have it a little bit on the soft side, and it should tighten up, because as I pull back here, I have the top sitting on top of the roof here. But this will come down, this is sitting down a little bit. This will all cover that corner like that. So it's like a double seal in here. But I've been fighting this thing with my buddy for hours here, and we can only get it so good. You do one adjustment and about 5 others go. So like I said, this piece here is going to come over. It's going to cover this whole corner. So that's where we're going to leave this. Now this will be the next bear, is to get this. Now this I want good and tight, so we'll see how well you know, a couple amateurs can do this, but we'll fiddle fart with it and show you the progress from there. So that's it, guys. Okay, we're getting ready to attach the top onto this thing. I'm waiting for this thing to focus here. There it goes. All right, there's a spline right here. This be for the 4th bow, and this one has, you can see the tabs on this thing here. So we got to get that into the slot and tap down into place, and that'll lock that. And then there's going to be the other bow up here, and we'll get that one set. That'll kind of lock it in square. So that'll be our next project here, and that'll drape down, and then hopefully we can get this thing to pull taut and look decent. So me and my buddy are going to give that a shot right now and show you progress. All right, see ya. Okay, we have the first spline in here. This is the 4th bow right here. We got that all intact. So that'll be coming down here. Next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to the 3rd bow right here. That'll lock the last 2 splines in. That should give me some tension in the middle here. Once that's done, may even attach this one up front here, and that should give me tension along the whole top. Then we got to fight this whole unit down at the bottom here. So that's about where we are right now. So all right, wish us luck. Okay, this thing about kicked our butts today. So we got this tacked on. We got this spline in here. We got this spline in here. Got this spline in here. Right now I just got some blocks of wood to lift the front up. I may lift the roof halfway up to take all the tension off it. But that's about where we're sitting now. I've seen a couple different ways of doing this, and one was to put the spline in first. They were saying in the instructions to do the bottom first, but then how do you know if you have enough tension on this one it's closed? So this way I think will work out a little better. They have a line here for the frame itself. So I think I'm just going to make a punch these holes out, put them on the studs, put the frame on it, see how it fits. If it fits good, I'll mark it, and then I'll pull it out and staple it. So that's where we're sitting today, and it's been a long day, but we're still going for it. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have tension on this thing, and it'll start looking like a car again. So, all right, guys, take care. Well, I did my preliminary stretch of the roof on right now, and there's some wrinkles up here and stuff. I don't have all the fasteners in there. I have another spring down here. I gotta attach that spring, and I think once that gets pulled, a lot of this will start pulling out. I may have to readjust. You can see if I pull on the tab here, I'll get some of that out. I may have to readjust the bottom track here, get a little bit of this out here, and I got the cables attached through the top here, and then I have to get these fastened in. So I got a little bit of adjusting to do, and we'll see what's going to happen at the end here. I still have to attach the front piece here, and that'll help draw things out too. So getting there. So hopefully at the end of the day, this thing will look nice and taut and look like a new roof. So all right, guys, that's it for now. Okay, I got the top pulled out again. We're going to see if we can get these wrinkles out. So my buddy came over again today. Thank goodness for that. So yeah, found the areas that needed tugging, and so pulled the staples and moved our marks a little bit. So we're getting ready to bolt this thing back up and see if we got all the wrinkles out. But you know, we had tape marks where we saw the wrinkles and stuff. So we're going to give this a shot and see if it looks better. So that's it. Okay, me and my buddy reattached the top to the car itself. It doesn't look bad now. There's a few minor spots in it, but it pulled in really nice. A few little spots like right up in here. I think I'm going to just let this sucker sit over the week. I got to work this week, so I'm not going to have any more time to work on it this week. So we managed to tack the front rail here, and it's just tacked right now because I still have some issues over here. So it's good and tight in the middle, and it doesn't look bad. So I'm just going to let this thing sit for a week and leave it in the shop here, you know, and let it stretch out a little bit. I mean, as far as how the window seals underneath this thing, it's fantastic. So once I get the other gasket, that's where I was having problems with leakage. It didn't come over far enough. So I still have to wrap the corners, and but it took a lot longer to get these corners good and tight. But you can see it doesn't look bad for what we did. You know, a little bit of wrinkle in here. Like I said, this is where I wish I had a nice sunny day to pull it outside, but you know what? It's winter time here in the Northeast. So I'm just gonna let it set and, you know, let it go, and I'll tug it and get this all reset. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. But I'll tell you what, these two-piece tops are a bear. You can see there's another wrinkle here. I don't do this every day. This is the first time I ever did it, so I think it turned out pretty good. So that's it, guys. Take care. Okay, guys, I finally got this thing all done now. I'm sorry I didn't film the portion where I was attaching the front here. I got carried away and I just did it without filming. It's hard to remember to do that when you're trying to do a project here. But overall, it does not look bad at all. I mean, there's a couple little wrinkles here and there. But once this thing gets out in the sun, I think it'll look great. The way the glass fits under here now, now all the rubber is protected from the top overhanging it. That's what I was lacking before. I got all the little rubber straps mounted up underneath here. You know, I had to use a hairdryer a little bit here and there to soften the material, pull some of the wrinkles out. But I'm sure when this thing gets outside, when it warms up and, you know, starts doing its own stretching, it'll be even better. But it showed up pretty good here. I mean, I'm highly satisfied with it. It is tight in this shop here. I can barely move, but I got to put the whole interior back together there. But getting all this stretched out, it was a chore. It was a big chore. So, but it's doable. You know, this is a two-piece top, and it was quite difficult, I'll tell you. I questioned myself at times. So, you know, you guys want to do it, you can do it. You better have a lot of patience and a buddy to help you. Would I do it again? Maybe. I did it out of necessity. A couple other things going back. I showed you that arrow stapler I bought. Yeah, it was cheap. It did misfire several times. But I wasn't going to spend $120, $150 on a good upholstery stapler for a single job. So, like I said, I just added that into the price of the price of putting the top on. But it worked out pretty good. This is that one funny corner I showed you in the very beginning that I thought the factory had messed up. There's a little gap right here. That's in the rubber. So I'll have to see how that all works out. I can always put another little piece of rubber in there, double-sided, or, you know, with the sticky on one side, and fill that little gap in there. But I think I got a great product here. So it's doable. Like I said, take your time. You know, you will get frustrated at times, but overall, it worked out great. So, all right, guys, that's my Sebring project.